I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The school board recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on corporation matters. Community members requesting permission to address the board are required to complete a registration form prior to a motion to approve a specific agenda item. Individuals will be permitted to speak during a specific agenda item before a vote takes place. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. No person may address or question board members individually. Any question on personnel should be directed to the superintendent by contacting his office. No participant may speak more than once, are limited to 3 minutes, and may not pass their minutes to another participant. The first thing on the agenda is to adopt the agenda. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Got a motion for Mr. Shale. Can I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Goddage. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor of adopting the agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. That motion will pass 4-0-1. Next up are consent items. Can I have a motion to approve consent items, please?
So moved.
Got a motion from Ms. Smith. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Goddage. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving consent items, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. That motion will pass 4-0-1. And we are now to the superintendent's report. Dr. White.
Good evening. Just a couple of things to highlight for this evening, and wanted to welcome anyone watching online or at home, and those who were able to be here in attendance tonight. First, wanted to note that we're beginning to do some preparatory types of items for next school year, believe it or not. So a couple of things in that regard. Anyone here in the district, in-district families, you want to make sure if there is any updates regarding your residency documentation, you've changed addresses, et cetera, make sure that you get that information into us for next school year. Any of our families coming from outside of our boundaries, transfer status, make sure that you take care of that renewal every year and that process. With that, we will be hosting a kindergarten registration parent night that will be coming on March 18th. That will be all 3 elementary buildings the same night, March 18th at 5 p.m. So that'll be an opportunity for those families who have a 5-year-old by that deadline at that August 1st cutoff of being 5 years old. That's an opportunity to come into any of our schools that night of your attendance you think you'll be attending, and receive more information and prepare for the process to enroll in kindergarten for next year. So we're looking forward to preparing those processes and working with our current students and any new students that will be with us next year as well. I also wanted to highlight that next month's meeting, which I believe is February 24th, that's correct, will be at the high school. And it will be a great informational night. The board will be receiving a presentation from the counselors and the administration of the high school regarding the new graduation requirements that are coming in for the class of 2029, our current 8th graders. As they come in as freshmen next year, they will be working with some new graduation requirements that are probably the biggest change to graduation diploma types of expectations that I've seen in my career here in the state of Indiana. So there's a lot of exciting components to it. And I think it would be a good night to learn what will be going on with that. Also, they're going to be hosting a night that I believe is on February 20th for our current 8th grade families to come in and receive that information in even more detail and go through an individual registration process in terms of courses and potential courses as freshmen for next year based on those graduation changes that are coming. So that February 20th event will be one that There will be more invites coming from both the middle school and high school, but I think that'll be an important night for families as well. We also, it's an exciting time as we see winter sports beginning to come to its later phases of their seasons. Girls basketball will be in sectional action next Tuesday night as one example. Girls wrestling was involved in the state tournament. We had some girls wrestlers involved in a lot of success with that new program, and then the boys wrestling state tournament is beginning. We've had a really great season, a lot of successful wrestlers, and we're looking forward to their run in the state tournament. So those are a few highlights and exciting things going on here at New Prairie. So,
All right, thank you, Dr. White. Any comments for Dr. White? All right, let's move on to action items. Action item A is to accept donations. It is the recommendation of the administration that the board accept the following donations. The New Prairie High School swim team received a donation of a new American flag for the pool deck from the Domkowski family. New Prairie High School robotics team received the following donations: a $5,000 grant from Cleveland Cliffs, sponsorship donation from D.A. Dodd, valued at $500, a sponsorship donation from Brewer for $1,000, a sponsorship donation from Lawnscape for $150, a sponsorship donation from Kirby Risk for $1,000, a sponsorship donation from Fiber Bond Operating LLC at $250, and a sponsorship donation from J&J Industrial Service in the amount of $500. The New Prairie United School Corporation Nutritional Services Angel Fund received a donation of $712 from Delta Theta Chi Sorority of New Carlisle. And then the Rolling Prairie received over $700 from fund drive donors for student needs. Those donors were Rolling Prairie Elementary Business and Community Association, the Saugony Lake Conservation Club, and some individual donors. So with that, can I have a motion to accept donations, please?
So moved.
Got a motion from Ms. Smith. Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Mr. Goddage. Is there any discussion?
Just say thank you.
All right, all those in favor of accepting donations, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. And that motion will pass 4-0-1. Action item B is to accept conflict of interest disclosure statements. It is the recommendation of the administration that the board accept the following conflict of interest disclosure statements for Brian Williamson, ground maintenance worker; Ashley Williamson, New Prairie High School custodian; Mindy Colonese, New Carlisle Olive Township Library board member; Rich Goddage, New Prairie United School Corporation board member; Christine Goddage, Prairie View Library assistant; and Christine Mash, Rolling Prairie Elementary instructional assistant; Jen Sass, the New Prairie United School Corporation curriculum director; Erin Jenkins, New Prairie Middle School social worker; Jackson White, New Prairie Middle School custodian; David Buell, New Prairie United School Corporation ground maintenance worker; and Michael Buell, New Prairie Middle School custodian crew leader. With that, can I have a motion to accept the conflict of interest disclosure statements, please?
So moved.
Got a motion from Mr. Shale. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Ms. Smith. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of accepting the conflict of interest disclosure statements, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
I will abstain.
And that motion will pass 3-0-2. Action item C is to approve old checks to be voided. It is the recommendation of the administration that the board approve old checks to be voided in the amount of $1,340.20. Could I please have a motion to approve old checks to be voided, please?
So moved.
Got a motion for Mr. Goddage. Can I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Shale. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the old checks to be voided, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. That motion will pass 401. Action item D is to approve the updated administrative contract.
So moved.
I've got a motion from Ms. Smith. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Shale. Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving the updated administrative contract for Timothy Scott, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. That motion will pass 401. Action item E is to approve the network attached storage quote for New Prairie United School Corporation camera systems. It is the recommendation of the administration that the board approve the network attached storage quote for New Prairie United School Corporation camera systems at the cost of $13,065. Could I please have a motion to approve the network attached storage quote for New Prairie United School Corporation camera systems at the cost of $13,065, please?
So moved.
Got a motion for Mr. Shale. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Goddage. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving the network attached storage quote for New Prairie United School Corporation camera systems at the cost of $13,065, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. That motion will pass 401. Action item F is to approve some overnight field trip requests. It is the recommendation of the administration that the board approve the following overnight field trip requests. The New Prairie High School dance team, including grade 8 dance team students from the middle school, to attend Avon High School dance competition with coaches Dome and Payne in Avon, Indiana on February 1 and 2, 2025. And then the New Prairie High School Model UN Club students and club sponsor David Daly to attend the Simon Model UN competition in Lansing, Michigan, February 20th through the 22nd, 2025. Could I please have a motion to approve these overnight field trip requests, please?
So moved.
Got a motion from Ms. Smith. Can I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Shale. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving the overnight field trip requests, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. This motion will pass 401. Right, action item G is to approve the 2025 summer remediation and summer camps. It is the recommendation of the administration that the board approve the 2025 summer remediation and summer camps. Can I have a motion to approve the 2025 summer remediation and summer camps, please?
So moved.
I have a motion for Mr. Goddage. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Ms. Smith. Is there any discussion? Okay. All those in favor of approving the 2025 summer remediation and summer camps, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. That motion will pass 401. And our last action item of the evening is to approve the resolution opposing Indiana Bills 1136 and 1501. It is the recommendation of the administration that the board approve the resolution opposing Indiana House Bills 1136 and 1501. And I am going to read the resolution. Whereas the Tri-Township Consolidated School Corp and Gary Community Schools have served in essential educational institutions, providing quality education and fostering the growth and development of our communities for many years. And whereas Indiana House Bill 1136 and House Bill 1501 propose significant changes to the governance of public schools, including the potential elimination of existing school districts, including Tri-Township Consolidated School Corporation and Gary Community Schools. And whereas the proposed bills could result in the forced conversion of traditional public schools into charter schools, which may undermine the quality and equity of education in these districts. And whereas the bills would potentially strip local communities of their ability to control their own schools, reducing local representation and participation in key educational decisions. And whereas the bills threaten the authority of publicly elected school boards who are accountable to the citizens they represent by disbanding such boards and transferring control away from the local level. And whereas local control of school is vital to the ensuring that decisions reflect the needs and values of the community, including the specific educational needs of students in Tri-Township School Corporation and Gary Community Schools. And whereas a strong, locally governed public school system is essential for the well-being and future of our students, families, and communities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees representing New Prairie United School Corporation strongly oppose Indiana House Bill 1136 and House Bill 1501 in their current form, and urges Indiana lawmakers to reconsider and reject these bills in favor of protecting local control, maintaining the integrity of our public school systems, and ensuring that all students have access to a high-quality, community-driven education. And be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees representing New Prairie United School Corporation will take all appropriate steps to advocate for the preservation of local school governance, the protection of public schools, and the interests of students, teachers, and families in our community. So, could I have a motion to approve the resolution opposing Indiana House Bills 1136 and 1501, please?
So moved.
Got a motion from Mr. Shell. Can I have a second?
Second that.
Seconded by Mr. Goddage. Any discussion? All right, I'm going to go on a little rant, so be ready. First and foremost, I just want to go on record to say that I'm not speaking for the board, administration, or even the school district. I am speaking for myself. In the resolution that's being recommended that the board approves tonight are two local school districts that will be affected if House Bill 1136 and House Bill 1501 would pass. Those being Tri-Township Consolidated Schools right here in LaPorte County and our neighbors, Gary Community Schools. In addition to those two, the following three districts would also fall victim to these bills if passed. Carrollton City Schools in Perry County, Union Schools just southeast of Muncie, and the biggest of all, Indianapolis Public Schools with over 50 schools that could be affected. This once again is a prime example of Indiana lawmakers overstepping their authority as elected officials. They have a personal agenda, and a part of that agenda is to abolish public schools in Indiana as we know it. They'll say that charter schools are public schools as well. However, they are ran by for-profit businesses that if they are not profitable, they will close a school, including in the middle of a school year. And then I ask, what will those families and more importantly, those students do then? Charter schools are not held to the same standards as public schools, and the education quality in most cases do not come close to that of public schools. This attack on public schools started back in the Mitch Danielson era, back in 2011, when he introduced letter grades for schools, followed by the passing of House Bill 1003 in 2013 by the General Assembly. Charter schools were just starting to really show their ugly heads at that time, and school vouchers were introduced. The idea, public schools were failing our students, and charter schools were the better choice and there to save us. The plan, give school grades based on how students did on standardized testing. The result, public schools in general continue to outperform charter schools, But of course, this was due to the data not being analyzed correctly, so they fixed the issues, changed the way school grades were given, and charter school grades went up. The following year, the same thing happened and continued to happen for the most part until letter grades slowly faded away. I would say to these public servants to look at the healthcare system throughout the U.S. Ever since public non-for-profit hospitals went away, making room for for-profit hospitals, healthcare has been in shambles. Hospitals no longer treat everyone, no matter what their ability to pay is. Instead, they now refuse patients and close down underperforming areas of the hospital, if not the whole hospital, if it is hurting their bottom line. The same thing will happen to our schools if this piece of crap legislation gets voted on and passes. As this is just the beginning, as of now, this bill states that it's more than 50% of the students residing within a school district's boundaries were enrolled in schools not operated by the district as of October 1 of the previous year. That school must be dissolved and changed into a charter school. And my question to them is, what do they think would happen when they expanded the voucher program? And furthermore, the school choice, which ironically today our governor announced that this week is school choice week as well. So now it's, again, so now we're starting at 50%, just like in the past. So when this backfires on the legislations and they don't see too many schools hitting that 50% mark, my question to them would be, will it be introduced that the right size number should be 40% or 30% or 20% or one student? I mean, where does it really stop? This bill will take away local control of schools and as a result disband the public school board. People who do not live in our communities will be in charge of running our schools. Public schools belong to the public. So I highly encourage members of our community to reach out to our local legislators and tell them if this bill goes up for vote, to vote no. This would include Representative Pressel, Senator Bohachek, and the author of this god-awful bill, Representative Teshka. If passed, a copy of this resolution will be posted to our website under the school board tab, along with contact emails and phone numbers to each of the legislators. And we'll also post something to our district Facebook page as well. End my rant. So with that, let's take a vote. All those in favor of passing the resolution against Indiana House Bills 1136 and 1501, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. And that will pass 401.
Well said, Mr. King.
All right, and that was all on action items. We are now discussion items. And we have our first reading of revised board policy 8500.02, food services, meal charging, and uncollectible debt. So at this time, were there any questions for anyone regarding board policy 8500.02? All right, since there's no discussion, this item will be up for a second reading, and then a recommendation to approve the changes will be made at our next board meeting in February. A copy of both of the current policy along with the recommended changes will be posted on the district website by going to the school board tab and selecting current documents. So since we have, yes.
A good quick thing about that, just to note that there's actually two options that regarding that policy. So, might need to be some follow-up on in terms of what might be at a second reading, one option as opposed to the other.
Yep.
So.
All right, let's move on to board comments. Let's start off with Mr. Shell.
None here tonight.
No. Mr. Goddage.
Nothing tonight.
Ms. Smith.
Not tonight.
All right. Let me go through my notes. He stole some of my stuff already. Okay. As you well know, I just spoke on 2 bills that were introduced this session that I urge people to contact their legislators to tell them to vote no on. And here are 2 bills that are waiting from our senators right now. We need to urge the Senate Education Committee Chair to consider these bills and to bring them to a full vote and then vote yes. They are Senate Bill 320 and Senate Bill 403. Both of these bills will increase oversight and accountability on voucher receiving private schools and charter schools. And it states that if they are going to receive public dollars, then they should have to play by the same rules as us public schools. So to contact the chair, you can email Senator Jeff Rotz at s27@iga.in.gov or call his office at 317-233-0930. Again, it's you should consider these bills and then vote yes on Senate Bill 320 and Senate Bill 403. As Dr. White had mentioned, we will be on the road for our next regular board meeting, which will be held on Monday, February 24th, 2025. Just a slight change of location. Instead of being in the auditorium, we'll still be at the high school, but we'll be in the cafeteria annex over by the library. So just a slight shift when you walk into the high school, go to your left. And as Dr. White had mentioned, we'll have a nice special presentation being put on by the high school team. And I've been told that we should bring our popcorn and to be well rested because it's going to be a long one.
There's a lot to the deployment.
But a good one. So, is there any further business from the board? No? Well, since there is no further business, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Did you say 320 and 403 or 493?
403.
Okay.